In this episode of Story Babble, I'm going to compare this kit lens that I picked up for about $200 against this Sony $2,300 G0Master Version II lens. You ready? So I'm here at the clubhouse at Val Vista Lakes here in Gilbert, Arizona, and it is a beautiful place and a beautiful day, although it is incredibly hot, so I will be going in very soon. I have put the 24-70 GM version 2 on my best camera, the A7S III, and I have put this kit lens on my A7 IV. Now, you're probably seeing some difference, of course, composition, because, one's over here and one's over here, but the lens is pretty shut down on both cameras because there is too much light here. So the fact that this lens can't go down as much as the other lens doesn't really matter in this circumstance. My wife is a yoga instructor, and she is teaching yoga camp to my 4 oldest grandchildren this week. Mostly excuse to hang out at the house and do a lot of fun things, but they do a lot of yoga as well. And we're here at the clubhouse to do some yoga this morning. I'm getting a little different skin tones, and I'm not sure if that's from the lens or whether that's from the different kind of camera that I'm using. It could be in the lens itself, and we're going to find that out by just using one camera. Alright, so this is the kit lens, and you can see that 28 millimeters wasn't enough to allow me to get too far out. But when I zoom in, I can separate the subject from the background pretty well. But when I'm out a little further, that sort of distinction tends to fall away. Overall, I'm very impressed with the images that I'm getting from this lens because the lens is not the most important thing for this shoot. If I really wanted to get better images, I would do it through lighting or maybe some set design or something like that. Okay, and now here's the G0Master Version 2, and you can see that it's a little wider, and so I'm able to get wider shots. You can also see some greater separation between the subject and the background with this lens, but not that much. And really what you're seeing is different composition, different choices that I made, not as much in the lens, but in the camera operator. I did get some of the same shots so that you could kind of compare them, but really if you're looking at the look and feel of this video, I think they are about the same. So one thing that this kit lens has is optical stabilization, and that's something that isn't on the G0Master lens. So here I am at the Riparian Preserve. This is about a half a mile from my house in Gilbert, Arizona. It is my favorite park in the world. And here is my wife, my favorite wife in the world. This is the kit lens with the in-camera stabilization off. So apparently this is the stabilization that comes with the lens. Here's the kit lens with the in-camera stabilization set to standard, and here it is set to active. Active stabilization is fantastic. So now this is the G0Master Version 2 lens with the stabilization off, and there is no stabilization, and it is pretty bad. But when we switch it to the standard stabilization, it's pretty much on par with the kit lens. And then when we go to active stabilization, it works fantastic, but not better than the kit lens. Looking at the kit lens next to the GM lens, I think the kit lens is better at stabilization. Whatever it has in it is better. But let's be serious, this is still very bad, and to me, pretty unusable. With active stabilization on, you get buttery smooth images from both the kit lens and the GM Version 2 lens. And if you don't have in-body stabilization, get a new camera or a tripod or a gimbal, because this is unacceptable. Okay, and now I'm going to test the close focusing distance between the two lenses. So one of the great things about version 2 of this G0Master lens is its close focusing. And this is how close it can get before it goes out of focus. And this is fantastic. The ability to get this kind of close focus is a superpower of version 2 of this lens. Now let's compare it to the kit lens. And we do that by going to its closest focusing distance, which appears to be roughly in this neighborhood. And this actually is not horrible. That's the difference between this and Okay, this is pretty good. I was not expecting this kit lens to be this good at close focusing. This is at 24 millimeters. Let's see what it does at 70 millimeters. Pull it out to 70, and as soon as we do, we lose some exposure. So I'm going to have to bump the ISO up a little bit more to compensate. And then at this range, our focusing is about there at 70 millimeters. If you look at the image looks, well, pretty nice. And you can see that the background is quite blown out. Back to the GM lens. So zoomed all the way out and focused out as far as it can go, well, at 70 millimeters, this can get in quite impressively close. Well, that's quite a bit of difference. So the difference between this, and a difference between this and this. Okay, so the G0Master lens can close focus a little closer, but the kit lens kind of holds its own. I'm having a difficult time coming up with reasons why the G0Master Version II is worth 10 times the money of this little kit lens. I know. Let's look at how sharp it is. Now, the G0Master lens is at 24 millimeters. I'll try to bring it into roughly 28 millimeters so that we can compare the sharpness at 28. So here's the kit lens zoomed in 400 times to the center, and here is the G0Master lens. Clearly, it's sharper. But I want to remind you of the yoga pictures. It wasn't as if you saw the sharpness in those videos. So even if we can see the sharpness difference zoomed in at 400%, that doesn't mean a whole lot in the real world. So what have we learned? We've learned that the kit lens is much better than I expected, and the G0Master lens, which is better in pretty much every way, is not going to turn your crappy videos into great videos. I think I proved that here today. Now, I wish there was a magic lens that you could put on the front of your camera that would make your video 10 times better. But the reality is the difference between great cinematography is not found in the glass. Once you have glass that is good enough, you can work with that. So get out there and shoot, and I will see you in the next video.